Hi, everybody. My name is Aimee Lyndon-Adams, and I'm a spiritual energy healer, mentor, and speaker and author. And I was born in England. You probably can pick up that accent. I've been in this country for more than 40 years and a citizen. And somehow or other, the accent doesn't ever quite disappear. So bear with me. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about my background and then my breakthrough that feels like it fits with this group's aims. So I started my career in corporate and specialized in the areas of service and sales at both the field level and the corporate level for Charles Schwab and for Citibank. And then learned all about training and delivery and coaching and became a senior consultant for a training company. And that gave me a huge amount of experience. And I then started to really yearn for an opportunity to use the tools that I had learned, but to fill it with my own content. As a pace with my corporate career, I really was on the spiritual journey very early in my life, awakened early to the fact that there was more to life than what I saw, and that there was some truths that would really be able to change my experience of life. And one of those tools I found early on in my teens even was the tool of transcendental meditation. And transcendental meditation was amazing for me in that almost my very first experience of it, I realized I wasn't just a body, that, as a human being, I had a mind and a body, but also had, a soul. We might call that spirit. And what intrigued me so much about transcendental meditation was I loved this idea that as you meditate twice a day, going into the state of oneness and being, and then come back out into activity, little by little, you establish a state of restful activity, which means that you can be deeply resting right in the midst of activity. And I really wanted that. I really wanted that. And so that started me off. And very soon I found A Course in Miracles. And A Course in Miracles was absolutely huge in my life. I must say that I cried every day for a year. You get a lesson a day, and I cried every day because I realized that the God that was being described in A Course in Miracles, one with whom I resonated utterly, was not the God of my religious instruction. And that was absolutely life-changing. I also understood that really, truly the goal of every human being is to experience peace of mind. It's something we want more than anything. And that in order to have that, we needed to gain dominion over the mind. And you've often heard the mind called the monkey mind, and that it, throws up so many negative thoughts about yourself and about other people. And A Course in Miracles taught me that, in fact, an attack thought on you or against anyone else is an attack thought on yourself. And I remember thinking, why would I hate myself so much that I would attack myself and try to take me down through my negative thoughts? And that's when I really developed the discipline to catch those negative thoughts and to not make myself wrong or bad, but to just let them go and replace them with a positive thought. So I got a very good grounding in that. I did A Course in Miracles for more than 3 years. So I really owe a lot to those teachings and those reminders. Most recently, I would say, I have been reminded again in another set of books that originally, I believe, were published in the late 1900s, something like 1989 or so on, a series of books called A Conversation with God by Neale Donald Walsch. And the first time around, I honestly feel I was just too busy with my doingness to pay any attention. But one of the things that I've learned over the years is that you can't miss what's yours. And even if you're not ready for it the first time it comes around, it will be sure to come around again when you're more awake and you're more aware and you can recognize. And over the last 3 years, I've really had quite an interesting experience as a woman who really has been prized for my doing. It would be a joke that if you want something done and done well, you would ask Aimee because she would always get it done. And, many of us wear our busyness like a badge of honor, and I certainly did. But over the last 3 years, I have felt myself unplugged from that type of life and unplugged from my schedule. I still do work with clients, to help them remember, actually, who they really are, and to just release, because I believe, no one is in need of a fix or in need of, there's nothing broken about any of us. In truth, we are all absolutely our divine selves, and over the course of our life, we've just acquired other people's projections in terms of energetic layers over ourselves and imprinted with other people's beliefs that are really, truly outdated. And we've acquired wounding that we've allowed to hold on to. And so my work as an energy healer is I work with 12 ascended master guides, and they're absolutely partners in us all waking up. So we work together to identify some of these old layers and remove them so that you can become more and more alive, aware, alert, and remembering who you are. I used to work 6 days a week in the old version of myself, and my guides gently asked me to reduce my days of work to 2 days a week, which I did, somewhat nervously, until I realized I actually am bringing in just as much money from 2 days of work a week than I did in 6 days. So I'm going to let you think about that. That was a mind blow. So in this state of being unplugged, I realized, my body needed recovery time. That I, have worked my entire life since I was 16. Work. And also, of course, many of you know we're in the shift of the ages. So we're actually shifting our experience of life on Earth from living in a dense frequency level of the third dimension, and we're rising in this lifetime through the fourth dimension of the present moment into the fifth dimension of oneness. And so my body needed time to release all its attachments to the old way of being and doing things in a dense reality, to release all those old beliefs that kept me stuck and needed a time out. And also, the body is actually changing so that we can take the body that was designed for a dense reality into a body that can be in a higher frequency. It's called a light body. And my body needed some extra rest because I didn't have any reservoirs left. I was burnt out. And then I realized there was a third reason that I had been unplugged. And that was, you can't really be open to something new if you've got the space completely filled. And so during this period, most recently, a set of books that arrived in the late 1900s, A Conversation with God, reappeared via a very good friend of mine who was given this set of books and just couldn't stop thinking about me as she was reading it. She kept thinking, wow, Aimee has said this. Oh, Aimee told me this. Wow, this is something Aimee would love. And so she told me about them, and I realized and laughed that I had, like her, we had read them a long time ago, but they hadn't landed this time. They blew my socks off. They rocked my world. I'd been asking, while I had been resting, for a different way of living my life. Not that I'm unhappy with my life. I'm very blessed to be in a exquisite, intimate relationship with my beloved Victor for over 20 years now. And I do this amazing work with my beautiful guides. So I'm actually channeling in this high frequency energy when I work with them. And, you know, I'm doing well. I'm in my almost, I'm going to be 78 next June. So it's like, I have nothing to complain about here. And I knew I wasn't living my potential fully. I knew that from all the years that I rushed and strived and pushed and just relentlessly kept doing, there was a sacrifice involved. And I didn't want to miss out at the end of my life. I want this chapter to be, how is it truly possible to live heaven on earth? I've always wanted that since I was a child. And the books really answered some very key questions, as well as validating everything I already knew to be true and practiced, and reinforced some things I knew to be true and didn't yet do. It filled in all the gaps. And it really explained that the purpose of life is not a school. It's to remember that you already know who you are. It's to remember. So all of life is designed to wake you up to remembering who you are as an aspect of divinity. And the way that happens is that because the world is made up of all the thoughts, all the words, all the feelings, all the actions of all the people, it is possible to create your own reality within that illusion. The common denominator, of course, we create our reality through our thoughts, words, actions, and feelings. The common denominator is that, in fact, we are one family, whether we remember it or not. And we are, in the process, each and every one of us, of assisting other people to wake up. So, when people come into your life, they are either going to reflect to you who you are, or an aspect of who you are, or they're going to reflect to you an aspect of who you are not, For the purpose of you resonating one way or the other, resonating, I am not this, this is not how I want to be, this is not what I would choose to do, or to recognize, oh, I see this in her and I recognize it in me. So when you think about that, it really lets us know, first of all, there are no enemies. There are no strangers in the world. Yeah, we might be in different stages of remembering, and we might have different thoughts about how we want to live our lives. But nobody is right or wrong, good or bad. That's the old dimension of the third dimension. That's all about separation. And look at where we are in the world right now. You know, I mean, it would be a joke if it wasn't so serious. We're really truly not the United States of America anymore, are we? We're more the divided states because, you know, we're being taught on a daily basis to hate one another, to judge one another, and even to kill one another. This is all part of the illusion. There is no separation. There's no separation between you and me. There's no separation between me and God. We've been taught incorrect information in 3D to promote separation. Religion has taught you God is outside of you instead of inside of you, a part of you that could never be separated. You've been taught if you're bad, you'll be judged. There is no bad. There's only what works. So, allow this information, if you're hearing it for the first time, to either resonate with you, you like it, it cheers you up, it feels right, it answers some questions you have. Or if you don't resonate with it at all, there's no problem. You're just not ready to hear that yet. No blame, no guilt, no shame, no judgment. Everybody, there's no rush. We'll all get where we're going at the right time for us because we have endless opportunities. There is no death. We've been given eternal life. Yeah, we may drop the body, just change form, but life as we know it goes on because we're conscious beings. And so you can have as many lives as you want, and you can choose different ways of being, lifetime after lifetime. You want to experience everything, every possibility on the earth plane in a physical body. You want to be a man, a woman, black, white, you know, poor, rich, sick, well, fat, thin, tall, short. You can experience it all. There's no need to rush. You can choose again and again and again and again. And what is life really? It's about choosing. And you've been given this gift of free will, so you can choose again and again, not because something is bad or wrong, but because it just doesn't work for you. And so you choose a higher option, a higher option. And as we all recognize through our choices and through finding out what works and what doesn't work, eventually we'll all find ourselves choosing peace, choosing family, choosing oneness, choosing to share and to let go of all the illusions of being separate. Illusions like scarcity, superiority. These just get bred from the illusion of separation. Not true. Not even possibly true. We are all equal, whether we're at different stages of evolution or not. You wouldn't make a 10-year-old wrong because he's not 21. You wouldn't make an infant or a baby soul wrong for not being an old soul. Soul age that you're at is just a reflection of how many experiences you've had on earth and to what degree you're remembering who you are. So accept this invitation. I have one last thing I'd like to share, and that's the be, do, have paradigm that most people have backwards. This is a powerful way to close, I think. It starts, in fact, you know, most people start with, in order to have what I want. In order to be able to do what I want, I need to have what I want. So I need to have what I want to do what I want so that I can be who I want to be. But this is backwards. If we do it the other way, we decide, and this is, after you've woken up and remembered who you are, the next purpose of life is to decide who you want to be in your next evolved self. You don't have to die in order to do that. You can just decide. So let's say you decide, my next best self is a woman who saves the world. My next best self is always at peace. My next best self is not a person who judges others, but has compassion for every human being's remembering journey. Yeah, we have to be aware of the words we use because I'm about to explain why. So if we do it the other way around and we decide this is who we want to be, then we identify what our doing is in order to be who we want to be. And remember, our doing is thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. So we align those four with our outcome of what we want, who we want to be. Now, most people, this is where the journey ends because they find themselves negating and therefore canceling the request to become this next best self through their negative thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. But once you realize there's no rush, what else is there to do, really? So you get to forgive yourself or just, choose again. Anytime you have a thought that negates what it is you want out of fear or doubt or, thinking you need something in order for that to happen, then you can just realign with the correct, what works, thoughts, words, feelings, and actions. And then before you know it, you'll have exactly what you want. So I invite you to own that you are awake. If you're part of this group, you are awake. We just need to evolve our next best selves in alignment with what we came here to do. And you're right, we did come here to save the world. We came to be of service. And the fastest way to wake other people up is to be awake yourself. Now, I am having a event. It's a quarterly reset webinar, and it is on April the 11th. It's called the Spring Reset. It'll be at 12 noon Pacific time for an hour and a half. I haven't started the marketing yet, but I'm about to. But you can, of course, reserve the date on your calendar. This webinar will offer you an opportunity to reset your foundation. We're at the beginning of a brand new cycle on Earth. The astrology has been so unbelievably powerful. We haven't had an astrological lineup like this in 6,000 years. So we have an opportunity to begin a brand new cycle in every person's life. And I thought to myself, why would we want to begin a new cycle from an old foundation? Why would I want to do that? I don't want to drag in my old foundation of beliefs, my old foundation of habits. These were all applicable to the third dimension. No, I need to reset my foundation. And then I can really look at who I want to be in my next best self. As we go into a fifth dimension where we know that we are all one family, and came to share the resources, serve one another, and really be at peace. Thank you so much for listening. I'll put my website and my email address below, and I invite you to join my mailing list so that you get my announcements. I do a monthly event called Celebrating Emergence on the third Tuesday of the month, and everything I offer is really in alignment with your pocketbook. I'm not one of these spiritual teachers who gouges you with extraordinary requests for money. I believe that we all deserve to have this information. So come join me. I would love to, I'd love to meet you, and I'd love to have your presence. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye now.